So, yes indeed, let's talk about Marek Arnold's music. We have I'm Your Saviour, an album by Toxic Smile. The band has actually recently announced they don't exist. Maybe I mentioned that in the earlier recorded video. But anyway, we're going to listen to some of the music off here. Maybe it's sometimes called progressive metal. I think it's a little bit more heavy prog. It does have some really good meaty riffs, but also has some lighter parts, acoustic parts, and piano as well. So let's listen to a little bit from Toxic Smile's I'm Your Saviour. Next up, we want to talk about Fetish. This is the whole reason why I'm wearing this getup today. This is quite a brilliant album. It's really one of those modern types of progressive rock works that doesn't sound like an homage to the 70s. They have 3 vocalists on here. Let me see. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vocalists. Okay, so there are a lot of people singing on here. So I want to play a part of one song which features a kind of Spock's beard-like vocal harmony type thing, a cappella. And then we're going to listen to some of the other bits and pieces. Track titles will be listed. Let's get into it, because this is one really brilliant album. By the way, they have, 4 albums out now, and the 5th one, as I may have mentioned, is coming out later this year. Okay, 7 Steps to the Green Door, Fetish. Yeah.
Remember all the times we had. Time for the really important things. There is no place for you and me. Don't you see? Searching for you. Behind my back, they will attack. And on the toe, much closer now. Behind my back, they will attack. And on the toe, much closer now.
this video making is hard work. I think it's time to have a bit of a snack here. Let's see. Where's my mouth? Here. There you go. There you go. Great. I need something a little more solid. There we go. How about some preps? Let me take one of these out here. See, where's my mouth? Does it fit in here? It doesn't fit. What if I can... Let's see, there's a nostril here. I can just adjust the mask a little bit. And there you go. Oh, my tooth is in the way. There you go. There you go. Oh, yummy. Alright, Marek, as I mentioned, is also part of a band named Flaming Row, I guess it is. This is for a couple of years back now, 2014, an album called Mirage, A Portrayal of Figures. I'll just tell you this, if you like Arion, if you like Pain of Salvation, that's all the reasons you need to get this album. It is really a brilliant masterpiece of progressive metal, and much like Arion, of course there's a key band. There is also quite a cast of members. Good heavens, let's see here. Where's the picture? Can you see all these faces? Probably not so clearly, but all of these people are contributing to this album in one form or another. So, guest musicians and voices of Mirage. We have different parts being sung by different people. There is beautiful acoustic music. There is incredible heavy rock, heavy metal music. There is amazing musicianship. Enough talking. Let's listen to some clips from Flaming Row's Mirage, A Portrayal of Figures.
Remind the warning, last chapter's closing. There is no chance you won't find a way out.
I'd like to talk about one more artist today, and that is multi-instrumentalist Chris Gill. Now, Chris started his career when he was 13 years old, playing bass in a live performance in 1968. And from then on, he played in many school bands and other local bands, played with a lot of musicians in the Bedford area where he grew up. And during this time, he had a chance to meet not only lots of amateur musicians, but also some professionals. And there is an account where he jammed with the members of Hawkwind in an abandoned hotel. Now, after some time, he decided he wanted to head overseas for some adventure, so he went off to the United States, and there he found all sorts of new opportunities for playing with other musicians and playing in bands. But most unfortunately, the band he was in 1976 suffered a fate that has befallen many bands before. While driving through the highway in Arizona, their van left the highway, and the subsequent accident left Chris with 2 broken hands, which of course, as he played guitar at the time, that makes it a very difficult thing to keep doing. So, fortunately for Chris, his stint in the US was not over yet. A friend of his got him a job teaching actors how to speak with an English accent. And that was great because he got to meet lots of awesome people. But after a while, he missed home and decided to return to the UK in 1980. In the 1980s, he spent about 6 years living in Germany and once again meeting lots of musicians and really being involved in music. And at that time, he got into synthesizers. But he really wanted to get back into playing the guitar again. So in 1989, he got himself a guitar and he practiced relentlessly until by 1995, he was able to play guitar again without any problems. However, during that time, he was not actually involved in music as such. He worked with Channel 5 TV in England and later with the BBC. And during his time at the BBC, he met Adrian Belew, who we know from Talking Heads and as well King Crimson. So they had a chance to meet and talk together about King Crimson's music. And later on, he met up with Nick Mason of Pink Floyd. And I think during this time, Chris realized that what he really wanted to do was something with music. Now, by the late 1990s, it was possible to make good quality recordings of music at home. And so he got into recording and basically making CDs for himself. And so finally, by 2004, he created Band of Rain. And in 2004, Band of Rain released their debut album. Then in 2005, they released another one, what was it called? Garland. And then 2007, I think it was, an album called Arts and Allurements. Later on, they did Son of 8, I think it is, Roman numerals 8. And most recently, just last year, they released Dust of Stars, their 5th album. Now, it's because of their 5th album, Dust of Stars, that I got to know about Band of Rain and Chris Gill, because my friend Gordo Bennett, whom we featured in episode 2, he plays a bit of guitar on that. So that was really great. I got to know about this band, and Dust of Stars album was really something different. I'd heard that style of music before, but recently it was not what I was into, and so hearing it was really refreshing. It's atmospheric, it's deep, it's moody, it's sometimes heavy, it's sometimes mysterious, it's sometimes beautiful, but almost in a kind of not really twisted or demented, but slightly uncomfortable way. But it's good, it's really great. So I was very glad to be able to discover that, and I recently got to hear a little bit of the album Arts and Allurements, and with some kind words towards Chris and an interest in purchasing the album, he actually most kindly sent me a copy of it. So, I should say also that in the last 4 or 5 years or so, Chris Gill has been involved in several bands and appeared on, I think he said like 9 different albums. And at the time, the website states 9 different albums. This is before Band of Rain's 5th album came out. So who knows what he's been up to since then. However, very recently, he announced on Facebook that he had joined English progressive band Concordat. And I had actually been interested in getting an album of Concordats for a while now. So this really spurred me to go out and get one. So I've ordered a Concordat album, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Chris is going to do with that band there. Okay, we are back to the present. And we're going to feature now some music from Band of Rain. We're going to listen to a couple of tracks from Arts and Allurements. This was their 3rd album, and Chris was kind enough to send me a copy so that I could feature it in the program. However, band member Micha Steinbacher has recently remastered the first 4 Band of Rain albums. You can find at least 2 of them now, anyway, maybe the more are coming, on Bandcamp. And he sent me a couple of the downloads so we can hear the remastered version of some of the songs from the CD. We will also check out 3 tracks or so from Dust of Stars, the album from 2017, and One World Music Radio, I believe it was, recently nominated this album for their top 10 of 2017. I think the award finally went to Life Signs, the band Life Signs, but it's nice to know that Band of Rain was recognized, because I think this is really a splendid album. We will hear some of that. Okay, another thing to mention is the Nonexistent. This album, Space Rock, it's a double album. Chris and some guys, they rented a hall, brought in their recording equipment, they played live, recorded everything, later added some overdubs, and produced this double album. So I think we will just add in a bit or two from here as well, so you can hear the Chris Gill sound is definitely on here, although it is different from Band of Rain. And I don't remember if I mentioned it now or not, Concordat. This is actually an older album, The New Crusade. Chris has now joined the band. They are working on material together. A new album will be coming out hopefully later this year in 2018. I expect magic because I really like what Chris Gill does. Concordat are a good kind of heavy prog band, lots of meaty guitars, good music in here. So, high expectations from that project. Okay, let's get on with it. Let's hear something from Band of Rain and a little bit from the Nonexistent. And this is where we wrap up the video and where I give my Big thanks to Sean Timms for agreeing to let me use some of the music from his albums. Also to Marek Arnold, not only for allowing me to use the music from his albums, but for sending me lots of stuff to download. A little bit too much to digest at once, but it will give me a chance to hear some of his other albums and bands and think about buying those later. Anyway, and also to Chris Gill and to Micha Steinbacher for their cooperation, allowing me to use the music and helping out by sending stuff and offering downloads and so on. It has been really great to have the cooperation of everybody to present this incredible music that I want as many people to know about as possible. That's you guys, the viewers. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the music. Look out for the next video coming up, probably in a couple of weeks, where I plan to feature more great bands, and then I've got Third Degree also in the mix, so the next couple of videos should also give you more wonderful music. Enough talking, time to go. Catch you next time.